Well, thanks, guys, for showing up today. We are going to jump into our part three of our marketing series. And this is all about how do you grow your brand and your business for obviously success, but also for awareness and leads, because we know that it takes a tremendous amount of impressions for a consumer to know who you are or remember who you are, or then move down that funnel to become loyal to you as a customer. And so each of these steps that we're covering in this six-part series is really intended to give you the ability to widen your net and to make sure that you're showing up in the ways that consumers want you to and in the places that they're looking. And then hopefully you walk away with some much better market presence that will inevitably snowball over time. None of these are a quick scheme to get immediate leads. This is the fundamentals of running a proper business. Um, and realistically, that's what you're doing. You're an entrepreneur who's running a business. So, could you imagine if Coca-Cola didn't have their logo correct on one of their websites, or didn't have a brand presence on, Instagram or Facebook, or didn't bother to put an ad out on a local sponsorship for an event? Their sales would plummet. They just would. Over time, people would lose interest, or they'd get familiar with other brands that were doing better promotions. And so, even for brands that have a massive market influence, they still have to work to keep our attention and our loyalty. And we have to do the same. So, we're going to jump into real estate websites, because I'm a firm believer that although things like Google and Yelp may be a great place for consumers to find you, and they will, that we also know consumers, when looking specifically for real estate, will often go to a real estate specific website as opposed to a generic search engine. And so I want to make sure that you have consistency in your branding, which we talked about in week one, and that you're editing and improving these sites as we go. So we're going to jump right in. All right. So just a reminder, personal content is what we're going through. We're on week three, so you'll see it's RE websites. Then we're going to set up Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn as additional ways for you to get in front of really good consumers. For now, as a reminder, we're going to talk about the purpose. Just want this to be really valuable to you guys. So at the end of the day, part of this is helping you step back from being in your business and working on your business, making sure that you're taking a look at this from the standpoint of a consumer, and that you're then crafting a professional presence online so that there's a consistency to your brand, your mottos, your values, the way that you communicate. We talked about tone, we talked about images. All of that is going to be really important so that people recognize when it's you. So let's do a real quick recap, because I know that sometimes as weeks go by, it's easy to forget. So branding is the actual concept. Concepts are things that have to be communicated consistently for someone to have awareness and loyalty to it. But the brand isn't in itself necessarily the product. We all know that the products can change. There are lines like Nike has a million products. They're not just shoes, they're not just clothing, but they have products. But what we know of the brand, as Latanya and I talked in the first week, is that they are a quality brand that draws people to be loyal to them because they don't wear out quickly. You don't find that you're having to replace items as much, and they generally are very cutting edge. And their target audience, when they're marketing, is those young urban athletic people. And so we are using them as another example of how do we create a brand and then communicate the value of that over and over again. And part of that is you having to go through a discovery process to figure out what is your why, who are you attracting, who do you need to serve and get in front of, and what do you offer that can be that value proposition that connects to people. And then you share your story and your anthem over and over and over again. Last week, we talked about marketing. How does that help you? And hopefully you guys took a moment to go through the action steps and make sure that your profiles were set up. And you started working on getting your logo, your coloring, and your motto crafted so that you can start to put it on all of these websites, because those things have to be in place for you to really make that impact. So without further ado, we're going to jump into what happens now. So where do we go in the real estate space? We all know that consumers have a lot of choices. And depending on who's marketing at any given time or what things are being done, consumers will use a number of websites, but at the end of the day, I can't tell you how many times I've Googled an agent, especially when I'm meeting with them for a business planning session, and I will look at these websites to see, and I will find emptiness. There will be nothing. Their name might come up on a website, but there'll be no bio, no picture, no specialties, no areas that they work, no experience or sales history, and I can't find anything about them. And I think about that because as a consumer, if I were doing a search for an agent in Phoenix, I'm not going to pick someone who has nothing on their site. We all have an internal desire to connect. And the only way we connect is through understanding someone else and having commonalities, right? Would you agree with that? So the more information we put out about who we are, the more aware of those that those consumers become of us and say, oh, they work in this, or oh, they've been married so many years, or oh, they love dogs, or oh, they specialize in divorce and that's what I'm going through, right? All of these things help with the consumer wanting to connect to you instead of the thousands of other agents in our marketplace that they have a choice to connect with. So I love this quote from Gary. It's true. Brand awareness are achievable through marketing. That's it. We have to market. And this is not something that most agents come to the real estate space with a lot of experience or history in. Very few come in with some kind of marketing degree or marketing experience. And yet, as an independent business owner, you now have to become an expert in this field or learn who to delegate to make sure that your marketing is consistent, that it's sincere, that it conveys your voice and your values. We talked about that, having that ability to make sure that your story connects with other people. And so it's my hope that through the series, you're going to get better and better at telling that story, and that we'll be able to move forward. At the end of this, we're going to do a little exercise for a wrap up that I think is going to be incredible for you guys. And you're going to walk away with something that you can utilize for the rest of your career. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be fun. So let's talk about what's needed. Oh, and I didn't even finish my screen. This is lovely. Okay. Y'all give me a break because I was like traveling and it was crazy this week. So what do we need? We need, in any marketing, we need 100% completeness. We cannot expect to have a website, as I mentioned, that's missing a profile photo or that's missing a bio information and have consumers click on your link to find out more. So we need to make sure it's complete. And each website is a little nuanced in what they want. So we're going to go through that so that you guys know exactly what to have and what to prepare for. Consistency. You need to make sure, again, that your brand is consistent. When you develop a header, when you develop a logo or a slogan, it needs to be the same on every single site so that everyone who finds you is seeing that same stuff over and over and over again and identifying with you. So make sure that you have a fresh headshot. Make sure that you're not using one from 10 years ago. Make sure that you have that value proposition down so that you can succinctly have a way to communicate what you offer and why it's important to them. And then a call to action. We all know with marketing, that call to action is what's going to help them want to connect with you. For more information, text me or call me. Visit my website for a free buyer guide, whatever it is, but you want to give something that allows people to connect with you and builds that initial contact so that they're a little more sticky, right? And when you have that call to action, especially if it's offering something of value rather than asking, you're going to create a lot more engagement from your audience. Any questions so far?
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, I'm moving on. So here we go. We're going to jump right into the meat of it. Here's the top websites. We need to be on these websites. If these are the sites that are getting the majority of visits from consumers, then we have to be there. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with agents who refuse to engage with Zillow because they have a personal issue with them. That's fine. Have all the personal issue with them. Don't give them any of your money. Boycott them in other ways if that's what you want. But realistically, if you refuse to put your name and bio on their site, you're hurting your own business. And you're not serving consumers who need you, because there's too many bad agents out there that they could get connected to by clicking the wrong thing or requesting the wrong service. And anyone who can throw money at them will get that lead. And I'd rather it go to someone like you who actually cares about what happens to that consumer. So these are the top websites right now being visited. And this, of course, changes. It's very interesting to see metrics for websites. Sometimes the reports come out, monthly. Sometimes it's quarterly or annually. They rank them, but we all know that for many, many years, Zillow has held the number one place. And then as it goes down, it depends on, of course, what people are looking for. But Trulia is also owned by Zillow. So the benefit is it's a 2-for-1. The moment you put your information and update your profile there, you're getting both of the top ranked websites immediately for exposure. Yahoo Homes is a little less available. So I am not going to spend a lot of time on that today because it's not something that you can really put your profile out there and promote. But we all know Realtor.com and of course Redfin and Homes.com are kind of rounding out those top websites that we want to make sure that we have profile in. After that, it really starts to shrink. And so the number of visits make it less worthwhile for you to invest your time. Although I would say if you have the time, it's better to go and to actually create profiles on some of the other websites as well, if you can. So let's talk about how do you set each one up and what are we going to do? So we're going to start with Realtor.com. We're gonna save Zillow for a little later because I need to stop talking about them now. So Realtor.com. This is our main website. This website was developed by the National Association of Realtors. Unfortunately, they then sold it and it is now owned and operated independently. And so it has become, in many ways, just like other websites, it has become a consumer-facing website that sells leads. To get started, this is where you're going to want to make sure you're making notes. You are going to log into dashboard.realtor.com. If you have a minute, I would log in right now and see what your own profile looks like. And again, I want you to look at it from the eyes of a consumer. You can even go to realtor.com and search for an agent. And if you will do that, you will probably find your name and your profile. And then you can see, what does it look like to someone? Is it complete? Does it have a nice look to it? So the interesting thing about realtor.com is that unlike most of the other websites, this one actually has a background photo just like Facebook does. And so it follows that same kind of theme that you get to set the image and the tone and the texture for your business. And so if you've not uploaded a background, it's showing blank, which is not very attractive. And what I would suggest you do is consider creating a background image, again, utilizing some of the tools we talked about to brand yourself and upload something beautiful that has your name, your phone number or email, your brokerage right on that front headshot and right on the front background photo, so that consumers immediately when they click on your profile have all of your information at a glance. It's a great way to showcase who you are and what your brand stands for. And so consider doing that. One of the places, just as a reminder, that I use quite frequently for stuff like that is a website called Canva. It's free. You can edit photography in there, so you can take a photo that you have maybe from a listing or a photo that you that they have in their inventory, and then you can overlay the text or your logo or something else on there to spice it up. And then again, because of the way that their editing software works, you can resize it to the exact size you need, which is so helpful for these kinds of things. And so it's really something that could take less than 10 or 15 minutes, depending on how quickly you find your way around the site. But to upload a photo, insert a few text boxes or insert a logo, it's fairly easy. They also have the ability to use transparency. So if you don't want your logo full, maybe you want it in the background a little bit, you can even do adjustments like that and make it look like a really professionally designed background. With Realtor.com, the other thing that's unique to them is that they want you to put in your NRDS number. That NRDS number comes from NAR. You can search for it there. I use mine enough, I have it memorized. But what happens is that because this site was developed by the National Association of Realtors, unlike a lot of the other websites, it will automatically import your information from NAR's website. And of course, as you renew your membership every year, they have the most current information, or they should. With that, it will automatically give you credit for any certifications or designations you have earned through NAR. It will also denote any languages you speak, which again is a really great component to marketing when you're making a public page like this. The next thing that you're going to want to do once you set up the profile is to manage your settings. Make sure that you're setting up email notifications, because it's really bad if someone clicks on you, sends an email to request service, and then what happens? Nothing. Are you on this site every day monitoring it? No, we are not. So set up those email notifications. It's really important. And then next, you're going to want to get some ratings and reviews. This again is a unique component to Realtor.com, and I'll tell you why. I love that they have both of these. Reviews, we all know what those are. Reviews are the testimonials we get from our clients who have worked with us that say, I loved working with this person. Sally did a fantastic job. She sold my home quickly. She communicated well. She made it easy for me, right? We all want those, and we have those. However, the other part of Realtor.com is ratings. You can get a rating from anyone. That means someone in your sphere of influence that you send a marketing newsletter to. That means your vendors that you send business to, your home inspector or your favorite lender, your title company. They can do a rating for you and help you gain exposure on there. So that's a really huge thing. You didn't even get a rating from your broker. So ask colleagues, a cross sale agent, anyone that you know that will write a rating for you to go in and use this, because it will help get you ranked.
Is there a way to import ratings from other sites like Zillow or Yelp or anything? Because I looked, I didn't see that there was, but
Yeah, I'm not sure that there is either. I believe it has to be unique to them, but I can actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, you can copy and paste them from other websites, and or you could, what I've done is send the link to Realtor.com rating, copy and paste the review from the other website, maybe start with 5, send them out to those and say, can you copy this that you wrote for Yelp into this website? I'm really trying to build a presence on there. And if you give them the link and the review that they wrote, it takes them less than 30 seconds. And I believe it does not require them to register like Zillow does. So they don't have to create an account to write a rating. Okay. The last thing that you're going to want to do is enhance your listings and set up seller reports. For those of you that don't know, they are one of the only websites as well, unpaid, that will give your sellers reports on the number of views they're getting on the property. So that's a really great component to add to show that, hey, in addition to MLS, here's a sampling of 3,000 views we also got on Realtor.com for you when we were marketing. And we all know making sure sellers know we're doing our job and not just sitting around waiting for a buyer to call is very important, because we have to be proactive and communicate. How many of you got a chance to look at your profile while I was talking? Look good? Are you missing stuff?
I updated my headshot.
Oh, good. Hey, we need to have that on our calendar. Honestly, I'm one of those that should be like every 2 years, come, whatever it is, a fiscal year or January 1, that we go in and we just update all of these sites, because things do change. We get new designations, or we change our specialty, or our headshot gets updated. I mean, we should be looking at these annually, but we should really be doing an update, a brand update on these sites consistently. All right. Make sure you've got that. Now you know how to log in, and make sure that you get your information. So
how do you
we'll
report that they can get that information?
Yeah, so I'll show you afterwards if we have time. I'll go online, but you click on the listing, and you actually have a little button that says set up seller email, and you could.
Right now, so I won't. Okay.
Yeah, so if you have a listing, you click into the listing and then allows you to enter the seller's email and it will send them a weekly report.
See, I'm scared to do
So
that
that's,
because of Zillow capturing all that information and trying to take our clients.
yeah, no, it's not like that. They legitimately know that you already have agency agreement and obviously they're not a broker. So um, they're just emailing the report. You can set it up to come to you if you want, and then you can forward it to them as well. So that's the other option.
Oh,
If
that's
you
good.
really want, you could just set up your email in that, and then when you get it, you can forward it and say, "Here's your weekly update." All right, so we're going to move on to the next one because I want to make sure we're covering the most highest ranked websites to get you guys exposure. So of course we're back to Zillow. This is a big one because obviously it gets the most views, and so there's some things that you definitely want to do as you're setting this up. So make sure again you're writing down this website, and if you haven't been there, it's really important to go and check it out. And again, I would take a moment really quickly to look up your own profile and see where you are with this. So the first thing you're going to do once you log in and create a profile, or you are, if you're already a member, you log in, is you're going to update your headshot, the about me, which has a lot of information, and then the service areas. So they want you to list what service areas and zip codes you are actively involved in. I will tell you too, that a big thing with Zillow is uploading your past sales. You can do that thankfully by running a report in the multiple listing service. If you don't already have it somewhere else, you can download that report and then you can email it to them and they will actually add it to your profile. One of the things I do like about Zillow's site when you're looking at an agent is I will have those heat maps, if you will, of where I've sold properties up, because consumers want to see. They want to see where you're working and who you're working with. So I also think it's really great when you can upload those past sales and make sure that it's showing, here's the main areas I work in, but here's the breadth of where the area I cover, right? That's really helpful as well for buyers who especially are being relocated and maybe not familiar with the area. It shows that you cover the cities or towns that they're considering. Next, you're going to connect your current listings with your MLS because you want to make sure that those are showing up on their site automatically if they're not already being syndicated through your brokerage. And then again, same thing, you want to request reviews. This is so huge. I will tell you, and you can see it from the screenshot I took. When you go to search for real estate agents, Zillow automatically ranks based on number of reviews. So the more reviews you have, the more you will show up on their list, higher up in the rankings. Okay. I just did Phoenix as a generic, but if someone actually types in a zip code, it's a much smaller demographic. And while you may not be able to get, thousands of reviews, if you can get honestly above 100, you'll probably show up in the first 2 or 3 pages because a lot of people have none or 1, 2, 3. They're just not very active at getting reviews. So think about, again, I will tell you just on a tip, if you don't want to just do this randomly and kind of broadside people with an ask, there's a couple of things you can do. You can run a contest to make it fun, have a prize for everyone who writes a review. You're going to have a drawing this month. So that's one way to get some reviews on these websites. You could even do that quarterly and just round robin all 4 of these top websites and have your clients participate in a contest like that. The other thing you can do is if you throw any kind of client party, you can ask for a review for them to do it. Have a computer, a laptop, or an iPad set up at the party and just ask people, hey, would you take a minute while you're here? They're willing to give back because they're already in a place where they appreciate being a part of an event that you've planned. So that's a great time to have everybody line up and write reviews while they're there at a client appreciation event. So that's just a tip from me. If you have other good ideas for how to get people to write reviews, you can write them in the chat for all of us. And then the last thing is enhance your listings and also set up seller reports. I will tell you, Zillow has been notorious over the years for having incorrect data syncs. So, for instance, I'll tell you, my APNs at one point for my properties would show up in the taxes. And so people would see a number that didn't jive with taxes, stuff like that. So it's really important once you enter a listing into the MLS that you also go to these other sites and make sure that the information being displayed there is accurate. The other thing that's interesting is that a lot of these websites have different character count for the description than what we have in our MLS. And so we all know currently we have 800 characters. If one of these websites, for instance, has 500 characters and it's cutting off your description right in the middle of a word, you're going to want to go in and edit that and fix it. So these are things that you should be paying attention to because, again, we've gotten a little sloppy in our industry, I think, with how we promote and how we sell things. And it's time for us to get back on our game and make sure that we're creating a premier presence on these sites that consumers are looking at, and that the information being shared shows us to be professionals so that we are making the right impression. Any questions on Zillow? Did you look up your profiles?
Yes,
Look okay?
it's okay.
I
Or
can't claim
or
any
needs a little work?
COVID.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is good. Bookmark these pages, come back to them. This is going to be part of your homework for this week, just to make sure that you are showing up on these sites that consumers are looking at and getting the most out of them. All right, so next we are going to talk about, well, let's see. All right, homes.com. This is another big one that we know. It's in our top 10 ranking for real estate specific sites. Obviously, I'm skipping the ones that are brokerages and skipping the ones that are rental sites for right now. We're just focusing on the ones that are going to get you the most exposure so that you can create that positive impression you want in the marketplace. So again, you're going to go to profiles.homes.com if you have not ever created an account. If you have created an account, you're going to log in at the other website, login.homesconnect.com. And theirs displays agents again in a little bit different method with tiles. So unlike Zillow that ranks them in rows, this is going to be more of a tile. And you can see right now there's 16,000 agents in the Phoenix area. What I know is that there's more than double that technically in the Phoenix area, which means half of all agents don't even have a profile on one of the top 5 real estate websites. So right there, you're putting yourself above the average just by creating a profile and having an opportunity. And you can see, unlike Zillow, a lot of these people do not have a tremendous amount of reviews. So if you can get just 50 reviews, you're right at the top, right? Even if you can get 20, you're showing up in a massive way on this website. So I would really consider, from a strategic advantage, taking a look at maybe realtor.com and homes.com because they're a little lesser known than Zillow, but you're not going to have to compete as much against other agents who are both paying and who have been on there for years. All right, so first thing you're going to do is, again, set up a profile with them. Make sure you have your headshot and about me. And again, once you write this bio and this value proposition, it's just a copy and paste to each of these websites. So the beautiful thing is you share your story, and then once you've done it, you can, again, continue to use it over and over again to save yourself a whole lot of time, but make sure your presence is on all of these other websites. If you did your About Me section for Google or Yelp, like we talked about last week, you can copy that same About Me to all of these sites that we're talking about today. Next, you're going to make sure you edit your contact information. You want to make sure that, of course, the way that people get a hold of you is accurate, because they do have quick links that will automatically call you or email you right from their site. And then you want to set up your settings for your email notifications. Again, it's great if you set up a profile, but if you're not on this site monitoring it and you get a lead, that's going to be a problem, because we all know that time is of the essence when someone's looking and makes an initial contact. The longer we wait, the less likely it is we're going to be able to capture or convert that lead. So set up your automatic notifications so that you know when someone's talking about you or to you. And then next, the requesting of reviews. So I don't want to sound redundant, but a lot of these sites, again, offer the same values to compete against each other. And part of that is making sure that they have agents ranked by the reviews that they have, because they want consumers to find good agents. So if you can get some of your clients to do reviews, again, going back to that idea of having a giveaway, you can also just do a straight promo deal. You know, if you write a review on 2 sites, you get this. If you write a review on 3 sites, I'll give you this and this. You know, maybe you mail them a $5 Starbucks gift card and, you know, something else. Those are, or for us, we'll do a donation to a charity. Those are great ways to get consumers involved and willing to write a review for you. So be thinking creatively about how to build that, because that's going to be a critical component to your success on these websites. Okay.
What's the
All
profile?
right.
On homes.com, but I can't edit my profile.
Okay. So you might need to go to that second one if you already have a profile, and it's the login at, you're going to do login.homesconnect.com if you already have a profile. So there's 2 sites for this one. One is to start a new account. One is to log in after you have an account.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Someone has 28 reviews. It shows up on page 1.
Hey, you know, I have to lead by example. All right, so we're gonna go on to the next, and I'm just gonna finish up a couple of these. And again, I apologize because some of this stuff, for whatever reason, I was having, as I mentioned before we started, having some issues with some of the servers, so I couldn't get all of the screenshots and things that I needed for you guys, but I wanted to at least give you the overview. So last, wanted to talk to you about HomeSnap. HomeSnap is a great website. It's also one of the highest ranked mobile apps. And so although website traffic wise, it's not in the top 10, it is ranked highly because a lot of consumers use their mobile app. They inevitably end up on the website looking at properties. And so that's another thing that I would consider also having a profile on, because again, it can't hurt, right? To have yourself there. If someone sees you, it's one opportunity you wouldn't have had otherwise. And so this one, again, fairly simple. You're just going to create your profile, obviously upload your headshot and your contact information. You're going to request some reviews, or again, if you can, copy reviews from other places. And then one of the things that I think is really great, they offer some fantastic services through what they call Home Pro Plus. And so you'll see right at the top here, there's a link to Home Pro Plus. You can research that. It is a paid program, but they will elevate you dramatically in search rankings online if you're a paid member of their program. One of the things I love about them is when you request a review for them, it automatically copies to your Google account. So this is a 2-for-1. You get a review showing up on HomeSnap, and it goes directly to your Google account. I have a pretty good ranking on Google because of this. So this is my tip of the day to look into this. A do as I do, if you will. All right. So action steps. This is our short and simple marketing series. So we're going to wrap it up with action steps. First, design your header, as I mentioned, in Canva for the Realtor.com profile, because it is the one that requires you to have a backdrop. I'm going to encourage you, as I did in week number 2, to create a consistent brand image. So whatever that headshot is that you are using, use it on all of these sites. And if you have a header on a place like LinkedIn or Facebook, it should be copied to Realtor.com, so that, again, people are seeing that same image, that same marketing, that same personality consistently across all the different platforms. Next, you're going to set up your profiles if you don't already have them, or update them if you do already have them, and make sure you've got as much information as possible there for consumers to really identify with you and connect. Third, I'm going to ask you to send 10 review requests this week. So I want you to get started. There's a lot of different ways you could do that, so get creative. If you decide not to do some kind of party or contest, like I mentioned, and you just want to email out a request that says, hey, I appreciate those that are advocates for my business, and it would really make a huge impact if you could take 30 seconds to write a review. Here's the link. If you're going to do that, I would work your way through your database. Do 10 to 20 every week until you've gone through all of them. And, you know, in a few short months, you should have everyone at least communicated with that you're requesting the review. Don't be surprised if the response rates are low, but it's okay. At least you made the connection and said, I'm trying to build my business on this website and it would help. And what you do know is for those that take the time and make the effort to do it, they really are in your corner. And so I would make sure those are the people that you reward. Pick up the phone, say, wow, thanks for taking that 30 seconds. You're one of the few that actually did. And I would even send them a handwritten note afterwards that says, thank you for really being in my corner. It means a lot to me to know that I've got your support. Continue to, again, reiterate to those good behavior matters to you and reward good behavior, because that's what gets them to repeat that. And then the last is make sure you're uploading your sales. We want to make sure that you're showing yourself as an expert that has, sales in your back pocket so that they know where you've served, what kind of price point you work in, that kind of thing. If you don't have a lot, you can wait. But I think something in there is better than nothing. So I would encourage all of you to upload anything you've got as far as past sales. Okay.
My team lead has captured all the sales, so I can't.
Yeah, and that's tough. That's real tough. All right. Any questions on this stuff?
No.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in. I'm going to stop the share right now and we'll go offline. All right. Anything you want me to show you real quick from a website standpoint?
No, I think I got it. I'm just typing and updating away as you go through it. I'm going through it.
Okay, good. Yeah, each of these classes, like I said, is going to have a little bit of homework. So you might have to schedule 30 minutes or an hour sometime this week to go through and do what I'm asking of you. But again, these are fundamentals. Creating, websites to advertise your business should be a key component. And once it's done, it's done. You don't have to keep going back and creating it. So invest this 1 hour just to get everything set up. And then after that, it's maybe a 30-minute review every year or two just to make any updates that might be necessary and stay relevant.
I like it.
And hopefully all of you have really stunning profiles online so that you can attract some new business.
I can't log into homes.com. And I've
Okay.
requested both the login and the password.
Okay.
Nothing's coming from them.
Interesting.
But I've got a profile.
Okay. So you can see the
wrong
profile.
information in it.
That's why we check these, is to go back to, okay, what do we need to do to make sure that everything's accurate? Because if it's not, I think with them, the good news is, let me log into mine, login.homes.com, I think is what it was, or Homes Connect, might be Homes Connect.
Yeah, it's login.homesconnect.com.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll log in. Let me do a quick share screen on mine so you guys can see. And then I've only got about 5 minutes, and then I got to take off for a seller consultation, but oops. Sorry, I'm not a robot. All right, here we go. So yeah, this is one of the ones that I was having a little bit of problem with. It's fine, but just not a whole lot. So I've got to get some endorsements. That's where this one is a real struggle for me. I generally, just so you guys know, I rotate. So after a closing or right before a closing, when I'm asking for a review, I'll rotate where I'm asking. So sometimes it'll be Google, sometimes it'll be Facebook, sometimes it'll be Realtor, sometimes it'll be Homes. And that way, you know, every couple of months, hopefully within that 6-month period, which is generally where they start to knock you down on the rankings, within 6 months, I've got activity on the site. So they're seeing a new review or a new closing or a new something. But yeah, this is good.
Yeah,
See, and
that's,
I've got activity going on, contact requests and stuff.
oh, yeah, that homes.com one is a little complicated. I gotta figure that one out.
So hopefully you're seeing this, that your drop down to your profile, or you can just click edit profile, is where you're going to go to get to all of this stuff. So here's your bio. Yes, you want to be listed. You want to put your bio and your logo in there. You want to make sure that you connect to any social networks you want covered. And then you can also put coverage areas. You can have up to 5. And then manually, because this isn't an NAR site, you have to put in your designations and certificates, which I guess I actually need to add a couple. Because I obviously didn't get in here and update my profile. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Where is it?
Yeah,
That's
oh,
funny. And
yeah. I'll try this homes. Says I have an account. Pull up anything when I go to it. Like I see my name and then I try to make edits and it doesn't let me log in. So I'm having the same problem.
But it's interesting. There we go. Yeah.
We went to
So-
HomeSnap.
I use
Oh,
HomeSnap.
you went to HomeSnap instead of
So
homes.com?
So I sent an email to support@homes.com about it, and I got a response back from HomeSnap.
Yeah, they're connected. They're interconnected.
So I wonder,
Oh,
let me go look and see if I've got a HomeSnap. Oh yeah, that's different.
I'm going to update this too, because I was doing that. See, this is where teaching helps, because then I actually have to do it all. I was going through and editing a couple of mine. I'm like, oh, that one still has an old headshot and this one has a new one. I'm like, why am I not consistent?
oh, so yeah, I use HomeSnap. I send that to everybody. I love HomeSnap.
Yeah.
But my website, my profile sucks. Let's do some
Well,
update.
you have the ability to change it. That's the good news. And you're taking some time right now to make it better. So
Yeah, I got to work on these.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to change this. Oh, see, I was having that same problem yesterday. I'm like, what in the world? I don't know why. Still have an error. All right. Well, I'll get it again later, or I'll keep playing with it, because it's just giving me that same error. 10 megabytes. Okay. So I might need to go change my size of my file. All right. So here we go. I am, if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to stop the recording and we will pick it up next week. If you have any questions or something comes up while you're doing these, feel free to shoot me an email.
Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate
So
it.